Man almost takes past to grave, then his widow sees this. She couldn't believe her eyes. The man she had loved for more than 45 years was gone, and he left her with nothing but unanswered questions and heartache. The betrayal she felt was otherworldly, and she knew she needed to exact her revenge. Even though he was gone, she would ensure that the responsible parties would pay. Elizabeth Hamilton, she had always been an independent woman. She had to fight for the life she deserved, and she came out victorious when she learned that she got accepted into her dream college. Ever since she was a little girl, she dreamed of becoming a successful journalist. She vowed that nothing would get in the way of her dreams, but that all changed when she met Benjamin. Even though Elizabeth preferred to keep to herself, her roommate convinced her to go to a college party. Elizabeth arrived at the party, and she couldn't help but feel out of place. The room was filled with beautiful women. She knew she was nothing compared to them. When she locked eyes with Benjamin, she couldn't believe her luck. He was beautiful, and he wanted to do nothing but talk to her. She wanted to learn everything about him, but her roommate pulled her from their conversation. "You need to stay away from him. I've heard terrible stories about him," she said in a hushed tone. Elizabeth continued seeing Benjamin, and they quickly began dating. Her roommate did not approve of their relationship and even stopped talking to her, but she did not care. She was young and madly in love. Not long after they both graduated from college, he asked her to marry him. She couldn't understand what he saw in her, but she didn't want to question it. They were on top of the world, and nothing could go wrong. Or so they thought. Elizabeth and Benjamin had a fairy tale wedding. It was truly the happiest day of their lives. Their life together had a strong start, but the young couple soon started to encounter problems they were not prepared for. Benjamin was very busy, but so was Elizabeth. She was still determined to come out at the top of her field, and he was no different. However, when they did have time to spend together, he would spend most of it on his cell phone. But there was more. Benjamin rarely helped out around the house, and she did not have the time to take care of everything. Elizabeth then decided to hire a maid named Mallory to help lessen their load. Benjamin took an instant liking to her, to the point where Elizabeth felt uncomfortable. Mallory was a beautiful woman, and she reminded Elizabeth of everything that she was not. Mallory proved to be a huge help, and Elizabeth treated her like family. Elizabeth believed she was someone she could trust, but she was wrong. The first time Elizabeth caught Mallory and Benjamin having an intimate conversation, she convinced herself that she was making things up. However, the conversations became more frequent and more flirtatious. Elizabeth confronted her husband about his behavior, and he promised he would be a better husband to her. His behavior changed overnight, and she remembered why she fell in love with him in the first place. However, he would soon show her why she could not trust him. It was a difficult time for her, and she had to endure it all alone. Benjamin was back to his old habits, and he spent more time away from home than with her. He was acting strangely, and Mallory's presence only made matters worse. Elizabeth felt disappointed in herself. She could not give her husband a child, and the years could have been kinder to her. She noticed that he had been making weekly cash withdrawals from their joint account. She knew she needed to get to the bottom of things. After being with Benjamin for so many years, it saddened her that she felt like she had spent her whole life with a stranger. She noticed his health was deteriorating, and he was soon diagnosed with a terminal illness. She asked Mallory to work extra hours to help take care of Benjamin, and she happily agreed. Knowing that she was on the verge of losing the love of her life, she pushed down all of her doubts and regrets to be there for him. Benjamin's condition quickly deteriorated, and it was not long after he passed away. Elizabeth was struck with debilitating grief when she learned she had lost her husband. She wanted to do right by him and give him the burial he deserved. She drove to the mortuary to ask to preserve her husband's body so that his loved ones could say their goodbyes. However, when she took a look at her husband's clothing, she spotted something that made her blood boil. On the right sleeve of his shirt, she saw a button that she knew that she had seen before. He was wearing the shirt that Mallory gave him as a gift so many years ago. When she noticed the left sleeve's button was missing, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. She rushed home and rummaged through her husband's belongings, and what she found sent shivers down her spine. She found a box titled, "This is a simple gift for you, my darling." She opened the box and found pictures of her husband and Mallory laughing together with two children she had never seen before in her life. She had known Mallory for decades, and she had never mentioned having children. The box also contained the missing button and numerous love letters. As she became aware that there was obviously a relationship between them, her heart began to pound in her chest. There were no words to describe the pain she was feeling when she realized her husband had been living a double life. She knew she had no other choice but to get her revenge. The first thing she did was confront Mallory. She had been with the Hamilton family for decades, and she couldn't believe this was her way of thanking her. She admitted that the children were Benjamin's and that he had been supporting them for years. She tried to beg for her forgiveness, but it fell on deaf ears. She then contacted their friends and family and informed them what her husband had done. She also told them that she would no longer attend his burial or help arrange it. Everybody supported her decision. But what was next for Elizabeth? Benjamin's burial came and went, but Elizabeth made sure not to even think about him. Even though she felt as if she had wasted most of her years on a man that did not deserve her love and care, she knew her life was only just beginning.